Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of the TrafficTroupe podcast. My name is Cab, and today is the best day of my lifetime. Here's my buddy Blaze,
Drugs are bad. Don't do drugs, kids.
and here's my other buddy Johnny D.
You can make your own decisions.
That's what I would say. Drugs are the best. Everyone, walk away from the podcast right now and go get a bunch of drugs and then come back, do them, and finish up the episode.
I recommend ibuprofen.
I recommend something illegal because you want to impress all your friends and all the babes will love it. Trust me.
Yeah.
Especially if you're underage. What?
Said women love bad boys.
Yeah. Definitely
Especially
do drugs.
ones with drug problems.
Yeah. You wanna be so messed up on drugs that you need to be cared for. And that's how you trick them. So speaking of drugs, I just went to a hookah bar. Is that a drug, right? That's a drug.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't do hookah bars. And this happened when I smoked. I did the cigarette thing, like this fake tobacco pouch. It's the same thing. It's like I'm not a big drug person besides drinking, and when I do hookah, it like messes me up, and it's like it's embarrassing because it's like I feel like I get the same. It's like paranoia that you get from smoking weed, but I get the paranoia just from like not being judged, but it's like I'm so out of it. Like any like tobacco stuff messes me up. What's your guys'
Yeah,
experience?
because you don't have a tolerance to nicotine, and when it hits you, it's gonna can hit you all at once. And
I mean, I don't either, and I don't feel like hookah does that to me. Like I feel something, but so this hookah place. Wait, that was the first time you ever did hookah? Is that what you
No,
said?
I mean, we
No.
did in in college. Like
College, probably, yeah.
my friend
That was the
had
first
one
time I
they
did
brought to his dorms, and we would do it out in like the courtyard and stuff. And that was the first time I did it, and it was the same thing. Like it just because I don't have that in my life, you know. It's like I almost feel like it's embarrassing. I feel like oh my god, am I on coke or something? Like it just feels like this next level of. I know that's not even hitting that benchmark, you know. It's like I feel like elevated and heart rate and all this stuff. It's like it messes me up so much. I don't know why.
I've only done it like 2-3 times and had no effect.
Really,
So,
I like the flavor.
Did you, when you went, did you look at like Yelp reviews or something like that for the place before you went, or did you just pick a place?
Pick a place. Why? Do
That
some
was nearby.
places lace it with PCP or something?
No, but
Because we'll go that place next.
looking up reviews of like hookah places is like there's no point to do it. And I don't know if you like I don't go to hookah a lot, but I've been to a few different places. And the only reason I don't do hookah that much, other than the fact that like it's probably not, a good thing to do a lot, like the amount of smoke and stuff you're taking in, but regardless of that, it's rarely is it like the actual like the service that you get is almost it's like like it has to be shitty. Like you're not at a hookah bar unless it's bad. Like
That's true.
there's no good service at any hookah bar. That's why like if you read reviews, there's no point because everybody half the reviews are gonna be like this place is shit and they charged me all this stuff. They paid charged my friend just to sit. He just sat there. He didn't even do the hookah and they charged him.
No, I went to this one once. I didn't smoke this one, but I was at this one and it was strange. Like it had karaoke in one part, and then the other part was just like your classic hookah.
Are you serious? They had karaoke?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
And it was they had like the menu could bet like the flavor of the pellets for the smoke you'd put in there, and they had they served alcohol and they had some drinks.
Yeah,
Food. And the food place was all the food that people were ordering was just like microwaved stuff. Like they actually had
Oh,
like random like Black and Decker microwave in the back, and they were taking out like,
okay.
and it was
That
like
sounds
they
about right
charged a
now.
lot for it. It was stupid.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got excited about the karaoke thing, not because even though I drunkenly did karaoke last night, I'm not like a karaoke person. Um, and was talking with my partner, and she said with like I last time I did hookah was her first time ever doing hookah. So we went to this place and yeah, she was actually like, "Oh, what if like it would be great if there were like karaoke here." And my response was that's a terrible idea.
I don't know why. Well, that is strange because if you're if you're drinking, I guess fine, but if you're actually smoking, that
You can't
usually
sing,
dries
right?
out your
Right.
mouth. Like you
Exactly.
wouldn't want to.
Exactly. That's why I
Yeah.
said it sounds like a terrible idea.
But this was weird karaoke. Like it wasn't like they had a guy who was put up the lyrics on the screen and picked the instrumental track like that. There wasn't like somebody like DJing this thing. It was just there was a microphone and then someone would pull up like a lyric video on YouTube.
Yeah,
So and then you'd have to sing over the actual song. So people were screaming so you'd hear them and not the actual song.
that's
It was
great.
like ghetto
Well,
karaoke.
here's the thing though, like they have you can do YouTube stuff. So I did go to like a karaoke spot, which is something I really that's only the second time in my life I've ever done that. Like I really don't. I've been out at bars, whatever, drunk or something, and like maybe people will convince me to do karaoke like that or something, but it's
Yeah, someone ropes you
not.
into like a duet or something.
Yeah, it's not really something that I would just do. But I did go somewhat recently to this like karaoke bar, and yeah, basically their system was interesting. It was like it's not the same system that they use at like bars. Um, it was kind of it was basically like YouTube. It was basically like you would search, but I think it was programmed in a way to like insert karaoke version to everything that you put or whatever, or like it knew how to find songs that were with no lyrics and the words. Like it's crazy. It was like I guess it makes sense with YouTube that there's probably those all types of videos are there, right? So of course there's going to be karaoke style type videos. But yeah, it's that's how the karaoke was run and set up was just like a YouTube search. But it was I guess the cool thing about that is you can find basically any song, like more than you would find at a more organized one. They only have like specific songs. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a karaoke story, but first I have one hookah story. There was a place that I'm 90% sure Johnny was there, and I'm like 20% sure that Blaze, you might have been there because it was that era. There was a place that I've been to doing hookah when I was with we were with that certain friend group that you guys are aware of that at some point we were all in. And it was a place that was like half hookah bar, half club, where they had like a dance floor and stuff. Were you at that spot with me?
Uh,
Yeah, I know this place. That's the one I was talking about.
That's what we were talking about that had the karaoke.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like a dance floor place. Was it both?
It was all kinds of stuff. It was they did all just yeah. There was like different sections of
Yeah,
it.
because they had like a DJ booth there and stuff too. There was like a little dance section. I thought
Yes,
that was weird because yeah, it's like
yes, that was going on. It was all like in the
yeah,
same
yeah,
like room though, and it
yeah,
wasn't
that
even
is
a
weird.
big room. It was like
That
some
is weird.
home office, and like it was very strange.
yeah. It was like a
That's some
huge
fucked up
room.
vibes.
It was just weird because it was all separate, right? So it was like the hookah was like tucked in a place that like pretended to be like a restaurant, or at least like that's how it
Yes,
was like
it was very
structured
strange.
with its doorways and arches and stuff. Like it just felt like a little restaurant area. And then the other part was like this huge club style room that had a bar just on one wall, and then dance
Maybe
floor,
I
whatever.
have been to this place. It actually does sound a little bit familiar now.
And it was weird because it was like I'm gonna smoke a bunch and then dance, like, and then what cough on
You
the
can do
chick I'm
anything
trying
in
to get
any
with
way
or
you want.
whatever. You
That's
know
the
what I mean?
joy of
Like
it.
Yeah, it's very different vibes.
it was like the
Dancing and smoking and
yeah, it
like
was the
smoking.
opposite of
I
like
don't
chilling
know.
or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't
Also,
get.
but I feel
Yeah.
like you were saying like hookah, whatever. Like I feel like it's like anything. Like it's like playing pool. If you go to if your friend group is like we play pool and like everyone's a certain skill level and everyone's decent, and you go to bars that have pool tables and stuff, that would be super fun. And I think hookah's the same. Like, if your friend group is like that hookah squad, I bet it is like tight, but it's like that's not my friends or whatever, you know what I mean?
We were not the hookah squad.
I went on vacation like with my ex and like her brother and his fiance at the time, and they had none of them. I was with three people who had never did hookah, and we were staying at this resort that had like a cigar room,
Oh,
and
tight.
they had a hookah. They had a hookah in there, and it was like this little tiny just room, and like we went there literally 3 nights in a row because they loved after the first time they loved it so much that they're like, oh, we gotta go back
Hell
because
yeah.
none of them had done it, and it was like it was nice because it was like literally a private hookah. Like there was nobody else in this room but us and the
Hell
people
yeah.
in the person working there. Yeah, it
I
was
always
cool.
found hookah to be just too expensive for what it is. At least the place I've
Exactly.
been
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of it's. I understand that it's like a trendy thing. I guess it's kind of unique, but like I don't know, you've done it once, you kind of don't need to do it again.
I agree.
Yeah,
I have
it
not met
is.
anybody who like that's their thing. I know people who
Yeah,
like to go to cocktail bars and get like top shelf whiskey. I know people who are want to smoke and they like smoke cigars or. But I've never met anybody who's like my thing is hookah.
yeah, and I think it is. If anybody was that into hookah, they would have their own hookah.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't go because they are very like. I guess to me, I do feel like it's overpriced because yeah, I do think I enjoy it, but is it worth how much it is to do it a lot? Not really. If you were that into it, again, you would just buy it, and that's what people complain about too, because there's like they'll say it's like however much, and then it's like oh you have to have a minimum of whatever, like 2 people to a hookah, and like
Yes.
just these weird rules, and like there's like a setup fee. It's like why not just say that the hookah costs this amount of money, like you're telling me that it's something separate, and then they do the place I went to did like a forced. The service fee basically is like them wanting to make sure people tip or something. I don't know if people don't tip at these type of places. I mean, I would tip if there was good service, but the
Well, that's
service
the
is so,
thing. Most of the ones I've been to,
that's probably
there's
why
always
people
a guy.
don't tip is the service is always shit. No wonder.
No one brings anything to you. You have to just like keep going up to get things. Like anyone comes around, like, do you want anything else, or whatever. You have to keep getting up from your little like beanbag conversation pit thing and going up to get stuff.
And like
Yeah,
we ordered like a bottle of water or something, and
it's like $5.
yeah, well, it might have been a little bit less, but yeah, it's like around there. And then um they like just forgot it, and then the guy came by and he like gave it to us like we'd already been there for a while. And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot the water. Like I'll take it off. Like I won't charge you for it." But they charged me for it. Like, don't
Godim.
tell me you're not gonna charge me for it, and then charge
Yeah,
me for it. What the fuck? Like again, the service, it's bad. It's always bad at all these places. It's so bad.
and they're always like in a strip mall or something like that. It's never like an actual like a nice property. It's always like next to the Dollar General or Break Clips or something.
Hell yeah. All in one service there. Yeah, it's yeah. Like I can again, like I can understand I guess the appeal, but just like it's not my thing. Cause we're like when you like if you and your squad, if you and your posse went to hookah, it's like what we're doing without the hookah, right? Like that's the whole thing
It's like
about like little
drinking. You just
smoke
sit around and
circles.
talk. I mean, where else are you gonna hang out?
Drinking is also just like get wasted and dance and stuff. Hookah is like literally
Right,
like
but it
let's
doesn't
have
have to be. What I'm saying is like you can sit
You can
around and
dance
drink
and
it,
do hookah.
or you could sit around and drink and not get wasted. I mean, it's a social activity, and depending on where you take where the night goes, it's one thing or another. But I don't think it's like mandatory.
yeah, but there's like hookah you can't get wasted. That like
No,
the
you
people that do
you
hookah, I feel like the point is to like chill and talk, and it's like we're chilling and talking. I think
that's
it
true.
just they decided that that's the way they like to do it or whatever. Same thing with like there's people that get together at 6 in the morning and go for runs and stuff. It's like I would never do that in a million years, but I totally understand why they're doing it. It's like the social activity they choose to do or whatever.
I don't feel like running it. You think running is social?
Uh, in the way that
That's
certain
so
people do it.
horrible. Well, I mean, anything can be social, I suppose. I mean,
Yeah.
You run and then you go drink afterwards.
how dehydrated can you get yourself?
That's the way. That's the way to do it.
That sounds fun. I mean,
That's
I
the
was in
only time I've ever done a run is if I'm drinking afterwards.
yeah.
Sounds awful. I would
That
not
kind of
do
stuff's fun though. I was in like one of those adult kickball leagues that's like sponsored by a bar, and you all go there after and stuff. That was tight.
What's the most? Well, let's go the other way. What is the most? Like anything could be social. What's something it couldn't be like? What's something that would be really hard to make social? But it has to. It can't be like sitting alone in a room. It has to be something with people.
Wait. What is a social activity that's the least social?
No. What is an activity that you can do with people that would be the least social? So like, it can't be like sitting
Sleeping.
alone in a room.
What'd you say?
Yeah. I think you got it actually. Sleeping with people.
Sleeping.
You're with people. You're doing the same activity together, but it is not social because you're both unconscious.
Oh yeah. So you're explicitly
Yeah.
you're talking about
hmm
situations that have to be with people. So like
Yes. Correct.
so not like autoerotic asphyxiation or whatever. Like you're talking
No,
about
that
things
would
that have to
not
be with.
count.
They have to be with people, but they're not.
You
Well,
social.
should, if you're gonna do that.
Wait. You could
I
do that. You
advise.
can be suffocating yourself, and you can be like, doing your thing, and there can be people around silently watching you.
Yeah.
No.
and talk
That's
'cause
my
you're
that's
how
my
I
private time.
advise.
That's
That's
my
how I
private time.
advise any of our viewers who are maybe thinking about autoerotic asphyxiation.
Have you ever done this? Comment below.
Always do it with a partner.
Yeah. But
Because
also, it's
safety
my private
first.
time.
Safety first.
And
This is so wholesome. I love it.
yeah, but
You don't
it's
want
just
to be
mine.
found like that.
It's yeah. I mean, be safe, but also,
Have
do you
fun.
want people to see? I mean,
Yeah. Well, if you're an exhibitionist,
true.
then it's not fun.
What sleeping? You can't. Isn't social.
But it's something that you
Being
can
at the
do with
library?
people.
It's
Oh,
something.
man, I used to hang out at the library in high school.
Nerd.
It was social. It was super social. We like.
I have never gone to a library with other people and not just talk to them the whole time and ignore the stacks.
Yeah, exactly. Like we would just hang out at the library.
I'm too
We would
busy
eat
building
if
my
we could
knowledge
eat
base.
lunch in the library. We would have ate lunch in the library.
No, you guys need to get on your grind set. You guys need to change your whole
That is-
perspective. I'm studying. I'm knowledge building, so I could have a skill set to dominate the whole marketplace. I don't know what you guys are doing.
You know, it is funny though because it is. I didn't even think about it at the time, but it is nerdy as fuck that I hung out at the library. I mean, it's pretty. You called it. It's pretty smart.
I mean, they had the
Not
most tables. To
necessarily.
be
If
fair.
you're like in school,
Yeah.
if you're in school and you are hanging out like at the school library, it's probably because you have a study hall where you can't socialize, or a lunch period where you don't want to be in the lunchroom for whatever reason, it's loud or whatever.
Yeah.
So honestly, if most people it isn't that you're going to the library for the library's sake. You're going there because it's a preferable place to shoot the shit than wherever it is you came from. So I don't think there's anything inherently nerdy about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
The same
And-
way as going to the bathroom to like, hey, remember like if you're like in different classes in like grade school and you don't go from the room, it's like, hey, at 12 o'clock, let's both have to go to the bathroom, then we can hang out for a little bit or something like that.
No,
No, yeah, you're
no,
alone.
No, man.
No, that's
That's
exactly
nobody here. That's nobody here but you, my guy.
that was the thing. Then you could like trade shit and stuff. Then you're not stuck with
Trading
wherever
things.
you're
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like when you like have stuff in your pocket and like you bring stuff to recess or whatever, or you keep stuff in your desk.
Oh yeah.
There's always
Oh,
that
man.
like
And then
school-
you and your
no,
homie got traded in the bathroom. I feel you.
There's always that like school black market. It kind of
Yeah,
goes
well-
away when you're older, like when you're a teenager in high school. But like when you're a kid, there's always like you don't have much money, you don't have much stuff. You find a little like shit on the playground stuff. Kids always trade.
Yeah,
stuff.
man. I'll never forget that time I lost my Shadowless first edition Charizard in the grade school bathroom. That was the worst.
That's tough.
That's me because I found that and I traded it for something even better.
Yeah,
See?
trade it for
Got out the black market.
yeah, for some fruit stripe gum, one piece.
When you lick it and make a tattoo out of it.
Hell yeah. Yo, wait, hold on. Really quick. So we were talking about books before, and this actually happened.
Yeah, I had a thing too. Damn.
Oh, wait, you go first.
I had a library related thing. I was gonna say that like Johnny actually did hit it the nail on the head though, because I was like very much like had like a lot of social anxiety when I was younger. So I think that like the small group of friends that I had, like being in the library was so much better because it was like not
Right,
just
you
a
hear yourself
shit ton of
talk.
people everywhere and around.
True.
Correct.
It's like a you're almost forced to be a certain level of quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's not so much noise, it's just like amount of people everywhere kind of thing.
True. Well, there's a level to the rowdiness. Maybe not like a volume thing, but like no one's like going
Yeah,
crazy.
and it's like basically people that are just chill. Like there was always like small groups of people that would hang out
Yeah.
like independently at the library
No.
during lunch.
Yeah, I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah. I did
It's the same way. It's the same way that like when you're like not so much elementary school, but when you're in high school and there's like passing periods or before after school, there's different like little nooks and crannies around the building where like oh this group hangs out here and this group hangs out there, and everyone kind of like quite literally finds their own little place to hang out, and
And
that's their
yours was
spot.
the bathroom.
No, I did not need to hang out in the bathroom in high school.
that's what we heard.
The bathroom in high school is infinitely worse for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when you were talking about the black market disappearing for when kids grow up or whatever, but it doesn't really disappear. It just turns into the actual black market. Like instead of trading Pokemon cards, that's like where you sell drugs or whatever.
Yeah, you sell drugs, correct?
So speaking of books, there's this new thing, and it's new to me. That I've been listening to fiction podcasts. So like they're like fake podcasts that are
Like
meant,
this one?
huh?
Like this one?
Like this one, like this one, that are they're scripted and they're driving like a storyline. So one is called like the Magnus Archives, and it's about an archivist that is archiving like a bunch of supernatural things that his company like discovers, and then through pulling out all these files and reorganizing them, he discovers like this secret mystery, and he goes out to solve it, and blah blah. And it's filmed or recorded as if it were a real podcast, but it's like a story, right? And I found out there's a ton of these, so I've been listening to those. And what's interesting is they're just called audio podcasts, or they're called fiction podcasts, but they're basically just like audio books told through a certain medium.
Right.
And it's so
Somewhere
nice.
between a like a podcast and an audio book.
Yeah, it's almost like a 50-50. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And I've always been someone that never read books, but also I'm not in that category of bragging about not reading books.
I'm a dumb boy.
What?
I'm a real dumb boy.
Yeah, but I'm not I'm not one of those people that brags about like, I haven't read a book since I was in elementary school. I'm too cool. Like I just haven't.
Does anybody does people say that?
Oh, that's a big thing. It's
Really?
it's like when people want to brag about anything that's like a negative, but they turn it to be a positive. Like they make their whole personality like something that's wrong with them, to almost like flip it or something. People do that with a lot of things. But I just never read books, and I've been listening to these podcasts, and I realize I kind of miss it. Like I don't know anyone that like talks about reading books. I know people do, but it's never been a big part of my life. And these things are so. I feel like I'm like reading a book, and so it's nice.
Yeah. I don't read a whole lot. A little bit.
I think reading has changed a lot. I think that people tend to equate reading with reading a book, but nowadays we have, whereas someone used to keep a magazine with them when they were waiting or whatever. Now we have our phone. Think about how many informative things. Page or news pages, stuff like that. People just tend to read in different mediums and in different.
Are we still live?
Yeah. Sorry, I clicked the button.
The stream has ended.
Yeah. No. Hold on. Okay.
Right.
You were saying
So,
books are different, which I thought was actually a good point. Can you say it again?
Sure. People often say that they don't read anymore, but people think reading is just sitting there with a physical book. I mean, even without e-readers and stuff like that, people are reading all the time. You can't spend as much time on the internet as people do without reading for the vast majority of it.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. I think it used to be the like trope that if you didn't read, you were dumb, or people are like, oh, he reads a lot, he's smart. Like that used to be equated, but it's not anymore because of everything that Johnny said right now. Yeah, I read a shit ton of articles like constantly. Like I read a fuckload of news on all types of shit, like at various points throughout the day, every day. But I don't like sit down and read like it's rare that I sit down and read like a novel.
I've
That's true.
never.
Most of even
Yeah.
the physical books that I read and have are mostly nonfiction.
Yeah, I never thought about that because all these years I've thought that I was dumb, or like I.
I'm a smart boy.
No, but I thought that I was doing something wrong by not reading books or something. But it is interesting because I do read a lot. And is that the new reading? Is it that when people talked about books made you smart before, it was just like building building your knowledge base? It was just
Well, I think it changes with
like
age too, because when you're
yeah.
think about this, when you're let's say when you're learning to read when you're in kindergarten, elementary school, they say that reading makes you smarter, not because most of your reading like chapter books and storybooks and things like that. It's not so much that the contents of what you're reading is making you smarter, but rather the fact that you're reading at all, that you get better at syntax and you find new words to expand your vocabulary. And then as you get older and go into more, you know, challenging things, not only are you hopefully reading, some more nonfiction as well, and expand just expand your knowledge of the world, but even a novel can give you different things to think about and get to critical thinking skills and kind of put you in situations to reason that you wouldn't normally be in. So I think the reason that reading makes you smarter is kind of changes is you get better at it and you get a better command of the language, more familiar with how it operates.
Whoa. Weird. I never thought of it that way.
Really?
I thought phone equals good, or phone equals bad, and book equal good, and you changed it. That is, yeah, I guess that is true. It's just that I was always at such a high reading level from birth that it was like I guess never had to deal with that or whatever.
Yeah, came
Well,
straight
same.
out. He
Well, same,
actually
really.
taught the doctor
How
like
I
a
it,
few things.
I think that they don't. How do I put this? They don't ask much of early learners, I suppose. I mean, I was, very much the same way as you. Like, I remember they were saying like, "Oh, you're reading like a sixth grade level in first grade." Like, well, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily that hard. I think it's all of how early you're exposed to it and how well it's explained to you. I remember, hey, like finding the alphabet just inherently interesting. You can make this sound, this letter makes this sound, but only if kind of I before you kind of thing. I think it's just how early you're exposed to it and how much it's explained to you, because people have an inherent capacity for speech and reading and language. So the earlier it's presented, I think the better at it you're going to be. It's a disservice to wait until the school system introduces it to you. Early childhood, preschool, things like that. That really does matter.
Yeah, I think all the other kids are just dumbasses. You know what I mean? Like I don't even think I was smart. I just think they were real dumb. You know?
I mean, some people are just not good at it.
Yeah,
But a lot of it,
dumb.
I think, is the way too is how it is taught. Not the fact that it introduced early, but the method by which it's taught. There's all kinds of studies that show the inherent value of phonics rather than things like sight words, knowing that the essentially the image of these letters together means you make this sound, the word, with your mouth, rather than this word makes this sound because it contains these letters working in this way. And there's a difference between learning with phonics and learning without. And as the school systems change by district or country, whatever, over the years, and they see people who learn with one way versus another, then as they hit their teenage and early 20 years, like even into college, you can see people who have learned one way versus another and how well they're able to read, the fluidity of which they're able to actually get the words out of their mouth. I
You
don't
gotta
think
be
it has anything to do with
careful.
intelligence rather than it is just how it was taught.
You gotta be careful about phonics, man. You know what they say. You might get hooked on them.
True.
Hey, remember
Yeah,
Muzzy?
I had to go, dude. It's so funny that whenever someone talks about hooked on Fox, I always think of Muzzy, but I forget what's the French thing they say.
Well, they teach you all kinds of things in
No,
French.
but
That's what Muzzy
there's a
does.
classic part of the commercial where they say something in French. They say "Jizafushi."
I have no idea. I don't speak
Oh my
French.
gosh,
I didn't
fake
use
Muzzy
Muzzy. I was
fan.
too busy using phonics.
Yeah, but phonics just gets you. It's just yeah. When did everyone learn to read? Blaze, what was your reading age?
It was like before I was in like any kind of school.
Oh man, I was hoping I could call you a dumbass. You're smart, Johnny. When did you learn to read?
Same. I
Ah,
remember
me
learning
too.
to read like
We all came out the womb with the
really
book.
no. I mean, I remember. I mean, I always remember, like I said, finding the alphabet fascinating. I remember. I don't remember not knowing all the letters. I remember I had like all kinds of. I mean, they're everywhere. Letters were everywhere. And there was, I had, toys with them. I had a felt board where they were all cut out, and you could
Yeah,
arrange them in different things, lowercase, uppercase. And then when, in school, learning different sounds, I just thought it was interesting how there was this whole system. And then so I don't even really remember so much. We're learning, like, today we're going to learn how to read. Just kind of by the time it was introduced, everything was already there, and I just kind of did it.
yeah,
I just love. I really hope there is a teacher that exists somewhere who has said that statement. Okay, kids, today we're learning how to read.
No, I mean they do. There is a period where they start to, where you ask someone to identify what these are. These are letters, and they each make a sound in big letter, little letter, uppercase, lowercase, and then you put them together, and then it's a natural progression from there.
yeah,
People usually they don't introduce the concept of you reading to like a preschooler or anything like that. They'll read to you, so you're familiar with the language and maybe pick up this word or these letters. Like, for example, a lot of kids will hear you know a lot of children's stories are repetitive, green eggs and ham and things like that. And you'll see little kids will pick up a book and memorize it based on the pictures. I say this when this image appears, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm going to read to you." But they're not actually reading, they're reciting from memory. But eventually, all these things kind of coalesce, and people who are familiar with this kind of thing, they pick up reading very fast.
yeah. When I was 3, my mom says this story about how my aunt came sprinting up the stairs. I was like, "Oh my god, he can read!" And it was because I memorized the entire book.
And that's not that uncommon. A lot of kids do
No,
that.
it's super uncommon. I'm really special, and uh, it was In a People House by Dr. Seuss. Our problematic fave. Am I right, guys? And
I'm pretty familiar with Dr. Seuss. I've never heard of that book.
It
oh,
sounds vaguely
it
familiar,
was
but
tight.
that's not like one of
Deep
the
cut.
popular ones. Yeah, it's a bit of a
Yeah, you
deep
gotta
cut.
be a true stan. Kind of deep cut.
I was doing some training for work, and they used like a Dr. Seuss like reference to describe some sort of fake scenario. I shit you not.
Oh,
Like
okay, yeah, like some
not the Snorlax. It's a Pokemon, but like something like that. Like the
thorax.
Lorax?
thorax. It was like a thorax. Thorax. No, the Lorax.
It was like a Clorox.
The Lorax's thorax was very large.
Whoa. The next time, tell them to use some like lorem ipsum or something. What are they doing? That's copyright. I'm suing.
That's what I was wondering.
What, the Lorax?
No, it's copyright.
What? Oh,
That's what
yeah.
I
I
thought. Like
presume.
I was like, it can't be, free use.
Yep. I'm telling. You shouldn't have said it. It's now here. It's recorded here for all of history
Okay.
in the archives.
There's so much detail.
Someone will sniff it out. We were talking about old. We were just talking about it. We were talking about like old things. Oh, hooked on phonics and Muzzy and stuff. I think it's part of the fact that I don't watch television anymore, even though online things have just as many ads. But I feel like the demographics and the targeting is different. But I don't see like fast food commercials anymore, or commercials for the same network, right? When when you're a kid watching Nickelodeon, all the commercials are Nickelodeon, and they're all toys and they're all fast food and whatever, right? And like now it's all commercials about Prudential or like Geico or something, right?
So, and what are you saying? Like what was I gonna say?
I'm saying nothing. I'm a
Oh,
podcaster. I'm just babbling.
oh shit. All right.
Um,
Well,
but no, that whole era of when we were children, and there were all the cool fast food commercials and all the cool toy commercials and even print ads, like all those Game Boy ads that were like
yeah. I mean, but I think that
naked
like
women and there's like play Game Boy. It was like an interesting era for advertisement.
I wonder if
It was a better time.
I see plenty of fast food commercials still.
Yeah, they
I don't.
get
Maybe I'm missing
advertised a
it,
lot.
or
You're
maybe they're
not.
so
Maybe you're
forgettable.
not.
In fact, I would say that that's almost, if I had to say one category, like on YouTube and such that I see, I would say that that's probably the most. Remember they made such a big deal like a week ago about you can get Big Mac sauce with chicken McNuggets?
Nope,
Like this is some game-changing thing? Well, then you missed out because you could have gotten Big Mac sauce with
Uh,
chicken McNuggets.
I missed out.
Speaking of,
And
I
you
read
missed
an
out.
article about how McDonald's is changing the way that they're changing their burgers.
It's gonna backfire.
Oh my gosh, they're making them delicious. Got them.
Maybe I might try them. Probably
I'll eat
not. No.
anything.
If I'm gonna get like, I have a weird thing for Whoppers. Like that's just my thing. I like a Whopper every now and again. But other than that, I don't really. I was gonna say I don't really eat fast food burgers
The thing
Uh,
with McDonald's
other than
is
Whoppers.
like with most of these things is that it if you and I think this goes way for anything like the Olive Garden or whatever. It's like you don't go to McDonald's because you want a good hamburger. You go to McDonald's because you
Because you
want
want a Big
McDonald's.
Mac, right? Yeah,
Or you
same
don't
thing.
go to if you want like, high-end Italian cuisine, you don't go to Olive Garden. You go to Olive Garden because you want endless breadsticks and some wine or whatever. You want because you
Yeah,
want Olive Garden.
if you want Mexican food, you don't go to Taco Bell. But Taco Bell again, it's like
Good. Yeah.
something else. Like I love me some Taco Bell.
And if
I don't go there thinking I'm eating Mexican food, but
well, right.
it's I enjoy it for
And
some
there
reason.
doesn't and it doesn't have to be it's not this like exclusive thing. Like if Taco Bell if authentic Mexican food exists, then Taco Bell can't exist. There is a time and place for absolutely everything like that. So I don't know why people have this eternal debate about let Taco Bell exist. It's there when you want it. And when you want something legitimate from south of the border, there for you too.
people always want to debate it.
No, because it
I
makes
think there's
people
very
think
few
that
people
they're
that actually
classy.
care.
That's like you'll get people if you're just sitting there enjoying your
But
sandwich,
you
and
can't say
someone will come up
classy
like,
because
that's not really Mexican
because
food. I know.
the actual Mexican food is like just as cheap as Taco Bell for the most part.
What do you
Like maybe
What do
it's
you
a
It
say?
little
can
bit.
be. I mean, you know what though? The
It's
real
not like,
classy thing
okay,
to
it's
do
not.
is
That's a
everyone to
bit of a
mind their own
dramatic
business
thing.
and let people eat whatever they want without
Taco Bell's
comment.
definitely still cheaper, but like you
They're on
don't
this.
have to pay much more for like good Mexican food.
Yeah, they're just different.
No, but it's not even just Mexican food. It's anything like that. I mean, there's the same way that if you want to go buy a couch, you can go to IKEA and drop $100, or you can go to, like an actual furniture gallery and drop 5 grand and get a couch. It's what your budget is, how much you feel like spending on your priorities, what's good enough for you and what's not.
Hmm.
It's like anything like that. There's different levels
Well,
of
yeah,
stuff.
that's
I don't
the
know why
whole. The fast food market is who they market towards is people that
there's
are
a time and
budgeting
place
and
for it.
like don't have much money because it's cheaply mass produced
I don't know.
like
Warren Buffett
food.
eats Big Macs all the time. He's famous for it. So
But I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes that, if you grow up, especially too, eating it, I think, like I grew up eating Whoppers. Like I had a shit ton of Whoppers when I was younger. So like I still like it's like I don't know.
and
Yeah.
that's okay. People don't need to justify their food consumption economically or
They
otherwise.
do.
You want to eat Whoppers all the time, do it. And if you
I
want
want
some
to eat them all
$50
the time.
hamburger, hell yeah, go for it.
Yeah. It's the
Every now and again.
it's the
That
invisible
man, the angry
hand.
Whopper, when the angry, this is not an ad, but the angry Whopper needs to be on the permanent menu, and they bring it back like almost once a year or something. And I'm at Burger King too much when they have that sandwich. Like I don't know why, but it's like a better. It's just like a Whopper with a special like sauce and some other stuff on it. But like Man, that sauce is fire. Very
Sauce is
good.
boss.
Yeah. I will be. You guys keep talking about this. I'm gonna test our be right back our feature where I can leave for a second. I'll be right back, guys. It worked.
Get back here. Anyway, no, I think that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It is interesting the whole like yeah, Taco Bell.
Remember Nacho and Dog?
Uh
They're like little mascots from the '90s. They went.
it's
I don't know if the Taco
Oh
Bell still have kid
wait, this
meals.
was Taco Bell. This was yeah.
Yeah.
That was the Taco Bell thing, right?
I don't know if they still have kids meals anymore, but they used to, and they had this like the cat was
I don't think
Nacho,
they
and then
do
the dog was
anymore.
Dog.
I don't think they do anymore, but yeah. I actually overheard something the other day that made me crack up. Actually, it was I mean, not really crack up, but it was like I like when you're walking like just down the street and you overhear like part of a conversation and you're just like, that's a weird thing to say, or whatever. Like somebody, and we were walking past a Taco Bell, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of in my Taco Bell era right now." And I was like, "It's an era,
Ooh,
the era, the Taco
slay.
Bell era." I don't.
Well, I think Taco
Yeah,
Bell itself has many different eras. I mean, like there was that era, like when they had that
the
kind of Saved by
Chihuahua.
the Bell look in the '90s. Well, they had the Nacho and Dog we discussed. Yeah, then they had the Chihuahua, and then things got a little more like kind of street urban looking. And there was real cool canvases all around the interior. And now everything's very like like most fast food and most things in general now. It's very clean cut, kind of the brushed nickel and wood vibe. Kind of the reclaimed look, but it was still a little urban. I think Taco Bell itself has many different eras. And that's another thing. How is it that all fast food? Remember, like going to McDonald's, it was all the like whimsical and yellow and red everywhere, or like the Wendy's had that like sunroom kind of thing. Now all fast food is just this generic box. It's boring. The architecture charm of fast food is gone.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying before. Is it's and maybe I just don't notice commercials as much because they're very straight to the point. Like a lot of the creativity is gone. There's something about the '90s that had this aesthetic of like I don't know, bordering on gross, right? Like it's the whole like Ren and Stimpy, animation
Yeah, at least for
style.
kids, it embraced the like stereotypes of kids like that they like to be messy and they like to be gross and like remember like there were how those trapper keepers things with like eagles and tigers like ripping up baseballs and shit and it was like no rules and crap like that. It was very extreme. But
Yeah.
then you grow up and there are rules and you can't do that with the trapper keeper anymore.
Oh man, they have so Gidget was the name of the Taco Bell dog.
Oh,
Gidget
really?
the Taco Bell dog.
Yeah,
Aw.
I did not know that. I never knew that.
I thought its name was Taco Bell.
I know, boo. It's not committed. Like we all know that Cab is about to change his name to Traffic Troop
Yeah.
for promotional reasons
I'll be.
legally.
I'll legally change my name to Traffic Troop. Don't test me.
Um, okay, this is going on record. All right, we've got witnesses. If this somehow blows up and like we actually become, I don't know. What's the number that we put on it? Like, what is like a level of like? Let's say you can make money off this. Let's say that this could be your job. If you can make that much money, you have to legally change your name to Traffic True.
Okay.
How about that? All right, let's do it.
Deal. Do you know who I am?
Yeah, I do. I do.
If
Oh my
Remember
god.
if this podcast becomes my full time job, I will legally change my name to Traffic Troop. In real
Remember, it
life.
was like the mid 2000s, the Ruffles, the potato chip. They were going to give like a bunch of money to the parents of the baby. They named their kid Horton.
Name their kid what?
Horton?
Horton?
Horton.
Horton.
Horton. Horton.
What's that to do
The
with
commercial
Ruffles?
it was the baby. It said Ruffles has ridges, and there was the little baby in the commercial. They
Wait,
were
the
going to give
baby's name was Horton?
Horton. What? Horton. Horton.
Yeah.
That's the
Horton.
name
Word
of
to word.
that's a baby and that was the name of that like the actor or the like it was a part of
The
the
name.
plot
There's name.
line.
Never mind.
I thought that was the name
Anyway,
of the elephant.
yeah, that was the one that
You
heard
heard
of
the
him.
who's. You heard the
Wait, but
who's.
that's weird. Like, if you're gonna pay them, they gotta just name their kid Ruffles, right?
Well,
That's a weird
you
promotion.
could do that.
Yeah,
I
name
mean,
your kid
they
Horton.
do that
Easy
too.
mode. Horton, done. Like, that's a real
Ruffles.
name.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's uncommon, but it's not that weird.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're poor and you want your baby to have a bunch of money, just name your baby Horton.
Yeah. Like, I would never do.
Horton is a name.
Yeah. I would
It's
never.
not a good one. It is a name.
Some people might love Horton.
Yeah. I would never do the, like, get a company's name on your tattooed on your forehead. I would never do that.
No, why would you?
But I would
Somebody
like,
did a Subway tattoo, just for like a year of.
I would do that. I would do like a Chipotle tattoo. I feel like they did that at one point too. But now if it's on my face.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
But
Yeah, face tattoo's a whole different level.
yeah.
Did you guys hear about? There's a place that opened up that you can get they're like somewhere in between what you think of like a temporary tattoo and like an actual tattoo, but it's basically like long-term temporary tattoos. Like they actually, like the ink that they
No.
use, it's still like a gun. It's still like a actual getting a real tattoo, but the ink it's guaranteed for like a year. But some people are like, oh, sometimes depending on where it is and how big it is and the color, like it might last a few years. But like it's guaranteed to look good for a year, and that's kind of like so it's a long-term temporary tattoo, which I think is an amazing idea. Like I could see
Yeah, that's
I
a
could see
very good
myself
idea.
doing that because I'm always like on the fence about like getting a real tattoo just because it's such a huge commitment, and it's like doing something like this too is a way to like try something out and be like,
Sure.
oh, do I like this tattoo? If you like it, and when it fades, go get it for real, you know? Like go get
Now,
the permanent one.
if
I
you
like
do
that.
you have to wait for it? Do you have to wait for it to fade, or if you want it removed early, can you?
You probably have to
Yeah.
let it fade. I don't know.
You
Yeah, I
could
would
probably get
imagine.
it tatted over, but I don't think it's scrubbable, right? Like it's actual ink that just deteriorates
Yeah,
faster or
yeah.
something.
It gets absorbed or whatever.
That's tight.
I mean, you could probably, if you like, tattoo removal is expensive, but you could probably, I bet a regular tattoo removal would remove it with like way less treatments.
Yeah, gone like
Like
one session or
if
something.
you really had to, yeah.
Yeah, I would do that. I would get Taco Bell on my forehead for a year. I would
For
just do
what?
it like
What are you getting just to get Taco Bell? You're getting Taco Bell for a year?
for life.
For
Or no,
life.
for the life of the tattoo. We'll say that.
Ooh, I like that. So then you could like renew your
just
contractual
a
agreement with
year.
Taco Bell. Like
Yeah.
if your wears out and you like the
This
agreement,
is
you can just go
this
for it
is a
again.
fucking business venture,
Well, it's
boys.
it is.
Let's get into this.
It's also like it's probably not worth it, right? Like
Podcasting, not it's not for us. This is
I
done.
would want like
This
a
is the
set.
last episode. We're
I'd want
starting
a
this
set
business.
amount, but they can do it in food, right? Because if I was just doing me, like I only probably spend like $6,000 a year on food. So $6,000 really worth looking stupid? I mean, also looking cool for a year, right?
A year on food? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I mean, I'm just talking about like if I had to force, like if I was only in there, which I would probably take advantage of it, right? Like my budget wouldn't be that much, right? You probably only spend
You're
$50 a
basically
day or something.
and then you die at the end of the year is what
Correct.
happens.
So it's like maybe I would say like okay, if you give me $20,000, but you can still make it of only Taco Bell, but I can like take buddies and I can like do whatever. Then maybe I would do it.
Well, yeah, then it goes
Taco
things to
party.
look for loopholes. So like, can you get a bunch of Taco Bell and then sell to friends for a discount, or can you,
I like
give it
that.
to charity? Can you just like how, what's the true terms of the contract kind of thing? Can you do you have to eat off the menu, or can you just like get ingredients like give me all your refried beans and lettuce and try to make something like healthy out of it? You do the full terms. We can
Could
think
you
out, we can
could you
think
sell it
outside
on
the
eBay?
bun.
Yeah, I mean, you could make content out of it. Like you could sell your life story and make a book and make a. You could get sponsored by that temporary tattoo company and be on like their posters and stuff. and their magazine.
Or you could make, or like, why limit it to that? You could have companies compete for the majority of real estate on your body.
Yeah.
Maybe McDonald's
Oh
comes
my
around
God.
and wants even more than Taco Bell, and they give you more to take up
This
more of your
is
body,
terrible, but it's
a better
also
part of your
amazing.
body. Like
Well, you
they
know
have to
the
go ahead, like I want something, I want your whole face, like across the eyes and nose and all that.
I want all your skin.
Johnny,
Yeah.
Give
wait,
me all your skin.
wait, you guys. I mean, you guys are both like internet people. What was that? There was like a website where the dude sold pixels for $1 or whatever.
This sounds familiar. I don't remember though.
There was this guy on this webpage that was 1,000,000 pixels, and he sold the pixels for $1, and his goal was to make $1,000,000. And so he sold them all to advertisers, and so like an advertiser would buy 40 pixels, and they would make, they would buy it in a 5x8 square, and they would make a little banner ad that was in that 5x8 square, and the guy just got 40
What
bucks.
did this guy do though? Like,
He just had a webpage, and it got viral enough. I mean, this is early internet.
Oh.
This is before
Yeah, this is
E-Bombs
like,
World
this is,
even existed. This is like,
that's wild.
thi-
Yeah.
This is like one of those like OG kind of things. This is like Lonely Girl and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
this was. I mean, this was the 2000. This was like 1998 or something. Yeah, it was like some
Yeah.
old school whatever. And
You guys remember the fatkid.net?
No.
No.
It was this website. It's called the fatkid.net or just fatkid.net, something like that. And it was like,
I didn't know your mom had a
early-
webpage.
I
now
really
the
want to.
2000s with your mom. But
Like,
it
a
was
part
it
of me
was
wants to
a
search that,
website
and another
was
part of
like-
me doesn't.
No, it's gone now. It's
Nope, not on my watch. What's it called? The Fat Kid?
It was like the fatkid.net or just fatkid.net, one of those two. And it was like a Newgrounds, E-Bombs World kind of thing. It had all these like flash animations, and it was like from like 1998, 1999, around there, probably from earlier, maybe around that era, though, the late 1990s. And it had all this stuff on it, and it's just gone now.
Oh. Well, this was like the same thing, like some old internet shit. But that would be cool. You could sell square inches of your skin for, 20
It was
bucks
like
or
Place. It was like Reddit Place, but on the body.
Reddit. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, remember
It would just
Place?
be like r/place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do
Yeah,
that.
I was thinking of that when you were talking about the ad thing.
I would just do anything that's temporary. I do not care at all. Like I would love to just get married
Temporary
tomorrow,
brain
and then get
damage.
divorced. Change your name. Change it back next month. Like I think some people that
Get
would
married.
complicate things. Like people have, they have published works under their doctoral degree, or they have families, or they have like life insurances that would have to get completely switched. I don't have anything. I'm a complete drifter. Like I would change my name if someone paid me money for it, or out of some bet or something. I don't care. I think it's
How
funny because you can just change it next month, right? I mean, you have to have the money both times, but
You can't change your name that soon.
You wanna
quickly,
bet?
can you?
Sure you can.
you want to test it? I'm
You
sure.
tell me that the
month.
government can process paperwork
I
that
don't mean
quickly.
month.
I
You don't
don't believe
even,
it.
and you don't even need to. You can just start going by another name.
Correct.
You don't, at least in the United States, you don't have to go to court or anything for that.
Correct. Well, the meme would be to change it, but then you could socially transition back to just telling people, "Oh no, my name's back to what it was." That was a joke. Or even legally, you probably have to wait a year or something, right? Like I'm sure there's some.
You don't
limit to
even.
changing
You
it
can.
back.
The United States is strange because we don't really have like a true like citizen identification number or.
No, but it's
anything
funny
like
when you
that.
pull out your ID and your name's TrafficTroupe. Like you have to legally
Oh,
change
but-
it. That's the funny part.
I mean, we have
Never mind.
like social security numbers.
But
I mean,
those, but
that's
social
what that is.
security numbers, but social security numbers aren't a citizen ID number. Those are numbers assigned for tax purposes and social security and things like not
Okay,
using
but
that. But they're
sure,
not
that was the origin, but they are just naturally
Private
because
sec-
that.
well, because there isn't anything else like that serves that purpose. So like private corporations and things that started using them is that, but that's not really its purpose. That's not really an official use of it. The same way that the zip code is for routing mail, but people use it for finding things at a store, finding a restaurant near you, or insurance rates and things like that. It's something. It's an identifier, but it's not. It's not a true.
Yeah, That
What?
is true. I
Well,
never
no, it's
really thought
not.
about that.
Can you
Yeah, it
not?
is.
Can I choose to not have a social security
No,
number?
you can't choose. The thing is, what he's saying is it's called Social Security for a reason because
Right.
when Social Security became a thing, they had to have a way to basically number people.
It doesn't matter what it's for. It matters what it's
It's a
Yes,
used
it
number.
for.
is.
Yes, it does because it's a
That's
number.
what it is. That's why it's called a
Calculates-
Social
Yeah,
Security
but
number.
I'm saying
Correct.
things
It's a-
don't matter what they're intended.
Yes, it
It's like-
does. It does absolutely. This number is assigned for tracking Social Security. It's and you if you don't have to have one, you can be born and be a citizen and all that without having. It makes your life very difficult.
you
in
don't
certain
have to
ways,
have
but
one.
No, you don't.
Oh,
And some
okay,
people
that's
don't.
different.
It
I thought
causes
you
a
had to
lot
have
of
one. I
problems.
thought you just give him one. Here you go.
Is
buddy.
that some? It's like a true like libertarian, I think, would be like,
Well,
no, my kid's not having a Social Security number.
Well, it
We're not
makes your
gonna
life very
contribute.
difficult. It's the same thing if you're an unregistered birth or something like that. It makes your life very difficult. But it's not that they come and track you down or anything.
What? Oh, I thought you were just like giving it. Like, here you go, buddy. Like, here's the social security number.
Well, you are because you're gonna pay taxes
You-
and pay into it. So
Well, that's why they need one before they'll start, doing payroll and stuff. But it's not that one just assigned you. You have to apply, or when you're born, they register your birth, and they assign these things based on an algorithm. It used to be like based on the state was whatever your state was is one digit, and then something else is another, and it goes from there. But it's not a true one-to-one for a citizen identification.
But okay, so now that that's cleared up, does it really matter what something's purpose is? If it's like language, it's like when people, it's like how literally changed where the definition in the dictionary now means that's like a sarcastic statement. Like things just change, right? Like butts are for pooping, but
they
like,
can change.
people fuck them. Like who cares what
That
it
is
like,
exactly
it's
like
meant
social
for.
security numbers. That is a one-to-one. Anal sex is exactly like social security.
Yeah, but I'm saying but that's just the thing about society. Like, who cares what it was made for? It's how it's used.
man, I spaced
Well,
out
not
for
who
a second
cares.
and heard anal sex, and then it brought me back. And I'm not gonna lie.
Actually, it's right the other way around. Anuses were actually invented as an alternative for sexual intercourse, and then people realized you could also
can
use it
shit
to
out
expel
them.
excrement. So,
Yeah, it
and
was
that's
really rough.
it's kind of interesting how people found out that you could use this
Yeah.
otherwise this hold for other things.
Oh my god, I
And
was
those
like,
early days of mankind when everybody was shitting through the urethras.
Yeah,
Wow,
exactly.
it was rough.
people would just. What's the thing where you die of not pooping? There's like a term for it. Anyone?
I
Um,
suppose
do
if
you-
you're
Sepsis,
constipated
right?
long
Sepsis?
enough, it could become impacted and
No,
like it.
I was thinking of sepsis, but that's different. Like where you get poisoned by
different.
yourself or whatever. Isn't that some shit? Am I stupid? Do I need to read a book?
Really work. You read a book about sepsis and anal sex.
Sepsis?
Sepsis.
Hey,
Sepsis.
sepsis. What are you doing with my?
I wish that here's the problem with this being live is we can't name the episodes until after, because this would right now the name for this should be Stepsis and anal sex, but
Sepsis in the omnihole.
Yeah, but we can change it. We
I
always
know
pick a title.
sepsis. It should literally be sepsis and anal sex.
Well, then we can post it on Pornhub.
True. Let's branch out.
Yeah, the Pornhub cut will have a different title.
Yeah, if one of you can take the responsibilities, if you want to take our little characters, who we also are, they're not, and make an SFW version, feel free. We can get some Rule 34 of our characters, or anyone listening out there. If anyone's artistic and wants to, make us some Rule 34 versions, go ahead. We'd love to see them.
Yeah, that's peak goals when you've got fanfic.
Yeah, true,
You made
actually.
it, you made it.
Maybe that's when I change my name. That's actually the new
Where do you
benchmark.
get fanfic?
The first time someone draws me with boobs, I got you.
I'll see you soon, Traffic Troupe, because I'm about to
That's no loophole.
draw
No,
it.
that's cheating. That would be fun. Well, what a great way to end. We'll leave it on that. Everyone can ruminate on our crazy banter. just a bit of banter in it. And
I like how you get weird at the end and the beginning.
it's impossible. I'm in a good mood. I have fun. I very much enjoy this. You were saying before, it's like a fake podcast or whatever. I enjoy just hanging out with you guys, and I hope that we get popular enough for me to change my name. Everyone bookmark this moment. And thanks for listening. It was great having y'all here. And any last words, Blaze?
I changed my mind. Drugs are okay.
Johnny, any last words?
Learn phonics, if not for yourself, so that you can teach your children. This
But
is
don't get
superior way
hooked.
to learn. No, get hooked on phonics, not drugs.
Yeah, and my last
Stay in
words.
school, even if you don't take phonics.
And my last words are,
Way to
bye
leave it on a
everyone.
You don't like phonics.